Hello, my fellow writers. My name is Laura, and welcome to my channel, Learn to Writer, where we talk about the mental difficulties of being a writer. And for those of you who have been here before, may the words be ever in your favor. Today we're going to be talking about letting your house be messy, choosing to let your house be messy. And you might be wondering, okay, what the heck does that have to do with writing? Many years ago, I was at a writing conference, and there was a speaker, one of the speakers who got up to talk to all of us, and I don't remember what her name is, and I'm very regretful of this, but she said, I just let my house be messy, because the time that I would spend cleaning my house is time I'd rather spend writing, and so I just accept my house is messy. And I remember listening to that and going, oh, yeah, you don't have to clean your house, right? Like, having a clean house is one of those things that, like, society kind of impresses upon you, especially women, where, like, having a messy house is some sort of a moral failing. You know, if you don't cook or bake cookies for your kids, the bake sale that they're having at school or for their soccer team or whatever, that you're like a bad mom, or if you, right? It's like one of those things where it's just kind of like, it doesn't have to be clean. And obviously I'm not talking about, like, you know, you've got cockroaches or like rotting food out on the table, or like, I'm not talking about like that kind of filth. That generally means that there's a mental health issue going on that needs to be addressed. Normal levels of messy, where, like, you know, you haven't put all the cups into the dishwasher, you've got piles of papers on your desk, you know, you haven't vacuumed in a couple of weeks, right? Like, the normal amount of messy, it's not hurting anything, right? So what this comes down to is basically that there just is not enough time in the day to do everything. And even if there was enough time, there's not enough energy. If I take how much time it would take me to, like, clean up various parts of my room, it probably wouldn't amount to, like, that much time. But the mental load of it, the fact that it needs to be done over and over again and all that kind of stuff, like, that's the stuff where it just, it's not really worth the time. And I'm not saying don't ever clean. And obviously there are things that do need to be done. Like, you're gonna have to clean your dishes. I mean, like, you clean your dishes every once in a while, or else you're not going to have anything to eat off of. You've got to do your laundry every once in a while, because otherwise you will not have any clean clothes. Bathe yourself and, like, brush your teeth and eat and sleep, like the necessities for a healthy life. Those are things you kind of have to do. There's other things that you can kind of let fall by the wayside. It's kind of like you almost let it fall by the wayside anyway. Like, right now my house is pretty messy. The thing that you have to do is you have to then learn to be okay with the fact that it's messy. And obviously if it gets to be too big of a mess, then you clean it up, and then you've done whatever. But I think the harder part of this is, number one, accepting, okay, it's all right to let things get a little bit messy. It's all right to let certain things fall through the cracks. It's all right to not do everything that you think you should do. A bunch of it comes from a time when women were stay-at-home, you know, they were the homemakers, right? You didn't have a job, you didn't have hobbies, right? Like, or your hobbies were like baking pies or whatever. And okay, I didn't mean to come off as dismissive about that, because for those of you who are homemakers, that's great. And if that's what you want to do, then that is also amazing. But, like, that kind of thing doesn't take into account the way that things have changed, where a lot of women are having to have jobs because nobody can afford to live in America on one income, or two, sometimes. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's certain things that fall by the wayside, right? And that doesn't make us a failure as a person. It doesn't mean that you are abusing your children or your pets or your husband by not keeping everything crystal clean all the time. You're deciding what has priority of being done. And one of the things is your writing. Whether or not your writing is something that you are actively selling or actively, like, making money off of, or whether you're just using it as, you know, a hobby or or stress relief or whatever, if it's one of the things that you want to do, then you should make time for it. There are some people who can't really focus on other things if their house is messy or if certain things are not done. In that case, you definitely want to sit down and be like, okay, am I upset that this isn't done because I feel like it should be done? Or am I upset about this because I myself actually would like for it to be done so that I can then focus on another thing? And you have to sit down with yourself and really consider that. If you make it okay that it's messy, and then you're still like, oh, but I really like for it to be clean, then go ahead and clean it, right? You know, I'm not saying just let your houses get messy because let them get messy, right? It's choosing which things are the most important, which things are worthy of your time, and which things you really can just set aside. One of the things that my partner and I do is that we, for a long time, they like to cook, and tried to cook multiple times a week, and felt like they should, cook every night or as close to every night. And then we got to the point where we're like, you know what? We'll just pull something out of the freezer and make it, and then we've eaten and it's good. There's still a night or two a week that we plan like what we want to eat, and they actually do like real cooking, because that's something that makes them happy. If cooking doesn't make you happy, you can get perfectly good meals very easily these days, and it makes sure that the family gets fed, you get fed, people get fed, but it doesn't have to be a production. It doesn't have to be whatever. And even though it sounds really weird, basically I'm saying lower your expectations, right? Don't expect everything from yourself. Don't expect to do everything. Figure out what it is that you can do and stick within those means, because you'll just be happier in general. Basically, this is your permission to not do everything, right? I feel like a lot of times as a woman, I have these certain expectations of what I'm supposed to be doing and how I'm supposed to be acting, and then I see another woman do something differently, and suddenly that's kind of like, oh, I can do that. It's almost like kind of a low-key permission. And so I am here right off the bat saying, give yourself permission to not do everything. I'm giving you permission to give yourself permission to not do everything. However that goes, right? There are things that you can let fall by the wayside that are not going to negatively affect your health, your family's health, but they will increase your happiness by giving you more time to do the things you want to do. Like writing. Oh my gosh, she came around back to writing, yay! I'm so wonderful. Not doing these things, it doesn't make you a failure, it just makes you a writer. So if you like this video, go ahead and like this video. If you would like to see more advice on how to writer, go ahead and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.